Okay, approval of minutes and adoption of agenda. Motion to approve the agenda for June 4th, 2025, with members of the committee reserving the right to add to the agenda and take further action. In the
Motion.
best interest, we are looking to add to the agenda, right? The North Bus.
The North Transportation Notice to Proceed.
Thank you, Amy.
I motion with that.
And I will second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Aye.
so we're gonna put that where
Under action items.
action
B,
items,
E.
page Y.
Which.
Proposed projects number 6, page 4.
Projects. A,
It would be letter
B,
F.
C, D, F. Okay.
So,
E, F, Hutton.
Wow.
North. Transportation. Think they're in business anymore. This is a good commercial.
6-4, 6F.
Okay, approval of minutes for May's meeting.
So
Motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any discussion? Moving on. Announcements by the next Property Facilities Committee meeting is July 2nd, 2025. Here at 5:30.
So, we don't,
No motion.
I don't have to do that, yeah.
I do not have any report. Number 5, current project status updates. Oops, what do you got?
if you can go to number 4, so see what we've added, the things you wanted to add on the agenda we add.
Oh, thank you for interrupting. Yes, we do.
So this
Okay.
is kind of a new format that we're working out to try to make sure that we're having a more robust, detailed agenda.
Okay, no report on Lyman and Ash. I requested that the north batting cage and the baseball field be placed on the agenda to create work orders for the simple repair of the mobile turtle batting cage. It's basically you just need an Allen wrench for those parts that are there. And I just want to make sure next year that we can install the batting cage for the varsity baseball team to use during the regular season. And I also found out that we don't have the traditional grading rakes, baseball infield grading rakes. There's usually 2 of those in the dugout shed. And the dragging mats to grade the infield, I guess needs rope to pull. And the reason why we're looking to do that is because of the number of rocks that do surface in the infield, that those dragging mats bring those up and out. So that's why I had the north on the agenda.
So I'll go up there and look at kind of what the field looks like. And then we'll make sure, Daryl, if you don't mind, that we look at that batting cage, get that all fixed up and
Absolutely.
and tweaked up, and then just evaluate the grading rakes, and if we need them, I'll talk to Chuck and Ben as well, and just make sure that these needs are met and not something that has to come to a board member.
Cool.
Thank you. And for everyone who listens, because I know everybody goes back and listens to these meetings, if you have an issue, reach out. I promise I'll fix your problem. Call me.
Cool. Number 5, current project status update. A is CHA project updates is Josh. Gonna say John. Josh, right?
Not John. Josh.
John.
There.
If I could have John substitute, I'll do that, but
No,
otherwise I'll
no,
take it.
it's all you tonight.
All right. Okay, so Is there a particular order here? Let me look.
Yeah, so stormwater phase 3, let's start with that.
Oh, okay. So stormwater phase 3, much like the other, what, I think 4 that were approved last month. We are awaiting bonds and insurance. We should have everything wrapped up from the contractors this week that we can issue their notice to proceed by the end of the week. So that would be true for stormwater and for the boiler projects. Obviously, bids were approved at the last board meeting. We're working through the bonds and insurance, and they will be starting as soon as we can give them that formal notice to proceed.
Okay, and the next item then is the North Natatorium roof leak.
Okay, so you'll see a payment request later in the agenda from Unroofing. That's for the materials, necessary portion of the materials for that project, which are on site now. They were kind of working around some class and testing scheduling and some rain, but they are ready to get going in full bore next week on that, and obviously take advantage of the summer timeframe to get that wrapped up completely.
Okay, and then I see we have the North Transportation Facility here.
So actually, we didn't need to add F.
No,
It's already on there.
you're
Look at
right.
us, well prepared. We didn't even know we were that prepared.
So, yeah, let's just talk about it here, right here.
So Josh, we just got that notice to proceed.
Right. So just to kind of recap, I guess, the last couple meetings, discussions, I know that you guys were kicking around some different options as far as scope between the existing facilities, a separate facility, a modular, however you want to say it. So our understanding at this point is the district is interested in looking at adding on to the existing dispatcher office, which is that smaller facility behind the transportation service bay. So the intent would be, and it's reflected on the notice to proceed, and hopefully Amy had a chance to circulate those.
Yeah, they have them.
Okay, great. So we're looking at a small addition for a bathroom and storage closet, approximately 10 by 12, and then approximately 16 by 30 for, I'm calling it a common area. I don't want to make it sound as if the anybody's lounging up there, even though that term was thrown around. So I'm saying a common area for the staff. And again, that would be additions to the existing dispatcher structure. Some of the other assumptions that we're making is that, and I kind of cleared this with Lehman Township previously, but just wanted to reiterate, there really should be no formal land development process. We're not changing zoning. We're not adding impervious coverage, so that should not be a problem. No DEP permit related to either land disturbance or to your on-site septic system, and that we're assuming that all of those on-site utilities are adequate for this small addition. So those are some of the assumptions or exclusions, I should say, in terms of what we understand the scope to be. That might change as we get a little bit further, but for now, that's our understanding of the scope. In terms of the schedule and the cost, I believe that option that had been selected had a range approximately of $150,000 or so. We just wanted to provide a little bit of a cushion depending on what the final scope ended up being. So for the purpose of the notice to proceed, we have a construction budget at $175,000. Obviously, that's up for board discussion, board approval on what you guys want that budget to be. But for now, that's what we put it as. Assuming that the board is interested in moving ahead formally with this form at the June meeting, we can look at an approximate bid opening, bid approval in October, and then a substantial completion by July. So what I'm thinking with that is if we can, it's not a tremendous amount of earthwork, so I don't think that the winter timeframe is really going to hinder us, but just to make sure that we're not trying to dig through frozen materials, I kind of estimated like a March, April start. Obviously, we're going to we can let the contractors get going as quickly as possible. If conditions allow for it, that time frame obviously can move up perhaps substantially, but just wanted to kind of err on the side of caution if weather or ground conditions don't cooperate with us.
Okay, thank you.
Josh, I know I gave you a quick turnaround on this, so please just know I'm grateful. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. No problem.
Okay, next item on the agenda is B, environmental services project updates. Rob?
Yeah, this is just summer projects are starting on June 9th. So we have the JTL partial flooring replacement project beginning on June 9th, and the tentative conclusion date is August 8th. Resica partial flooring replacement is June 9th and tentative conclusion August 8th. The asbestos abatement portion will start on June 9th, and their tentative conclusion date is July 3rd. And the other part, the flooring replacement by Lehigh Valley Flooring, will begin on July 3rd, and their conclusion date tentatively is August 8th. The JM Hill floor repair, which it's been forever since we approved that, and we got so ahead of that, but that's a summer project, and that's going to start on June 9th, and they should be done by July 3rd.
All right. Next item on the agenda, building and facilities current project updates. Daryl?
Okay, now I see on here the Smithfield boiler replacement. Josh has been working on that.
Can we start with
So-
the number one, the Bushkill underground storage tank?
Oh, wait, oh, I'm on the wrong page.
Good try, though.
Page 3, out of 9 at the bottom.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Who's for that?
Miller
Just
Environmental.
slid right by that one.
Nothing to see here.
He tried.
Miller Environmental should be back on site on or around about a week and a half to do the rest of their testing to try to come up with exactly where the water intruded into the tank. At this point, we don't know for certain if it's something as simple as a vent or a gasket somewhere in the tank. When they finish that testing, we'll know more about what we need to do to pursue.
So they took core samples down below the tank?
Not at this point.
Not yet.
Okay.
And they have been very clear with us to be cautious of saying that there was any infiltration,
Might not.
right? They have been very, very kind of, don't use that language because they don't know of it. Do we have circumstantial evidence? Yes, but we don't have actual proof. So they basically said, don't sound the alarms yet. Also, the insurance company still has not denied the claim.
Correct.
And we have another meeting.
We have another meeting tomorrow in the afternoon with them to provide additional information regarding the removal of the liquids that were in the tank.
Mhm.
Then we're going to also let Miller handle any necessary reporting as part of their obligation with DEP should there be a need. And they explained that this tank is not a USTF registered tank because it's holding only heating oil. It's not one of our garage tanks like we have across the street.
Right.
So therefore, until they can determine where the leak was and then excavate at the appropriate location, then they'll do, as Mr. Roner indicated, soil samples. And at that point, determine if they have to file further reports, which would then involve further remedial action.
Okay.
And I think there are some conversations that if this tank cannot be used anymore, which is what we suspect, do we take this opportunity to turn the Bushkill Elementary School boiler over to propane
Sure.
and put it in a above ground tank?
Absolutely.
So once we know more, I believe that in the July PNF committee, we'll be able to bring that to the board.
Correct. Yep.
Did I get all of it right?
You
Yeah,
did.
that's
Mhm.
exactly where we're headed to.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay.
Now you can go to Smithfield Boilers.
Okay, I'll tell you what, if you want, like I said, that would be Josh. I don't know if you want me to run through the lights in 3 and 5 and let Josh discuss the others, or do you want me to just go to Josh now?
We could go to Josh. Josh, the
Yeah.
Smithfield
Yeah.
boiler replacement?
Yeah, so Daryl, I can be quick with this. So the boiler replacements and the JTL cabling, as we've been discussing, we're part of that DCED grant program. They're in the same kind of schedule as the stormwater in terms of being approved last month. We're still getting the bonds and insurance to get the notice to proceed to the contractors. We do anticipate that work starting, by the end of June, hopefully. Depending on the material availability, a lot of these components we've seen over the past couple years have extensive lead times. Whatever we can get done for material that can come in stock this summer is going to get done. Certain components related to pump controls and that type of stuff that we've seen very long lead times, we did permit the contractor to extend into the spring of 26. So again, we're going to try to get done everything that's feasible over this summer, but it might bleed into the spring of next year.
Thanks, Josh. North Auditorium light upgrades.
Okay, we got some great news on that. Contractor was able to secure the lighting and everything we needed to do the stage lights up there. He's tentatively scheduled to begin the first week in July. And he should only be on site about 2 weeks, and that will be wrapped up and ready to go like JTL.
2-week job.
Approximately 2 to 3 weeks.
Us making change.
Okay, next one's your boiler replacement.
Josh.
Josh, we're at Middle Smithfield and JTL. I think you mentioned one of them, didn't you?
JTL, so Middle Smithfield, I'm not aware currently of any work that is at Middle Smithfield, certainly that we're involved with. So I don't know if that was maybe just a typo or confused with Smithfield.
It was probably confused with Smithfield.
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's the case on that.
Thank you.
So we can scratch out MSC?
Yep,
Currently, yeah.
Just put Smithfield instead,
yep.
Well, it's up above.
so
Just
ES,
cross it.
So it's basically JTL boiler and hot water.
MSE or S. or
ME.
MS, yeah, EM, whatever.
We could be more
I can-
creative.
I
with
can see
building
the,
names.
I can see the confusion.
So, and you already gave us the info on JTL, right?
Yeah, that would be similar to the Smithfield system in terms of getting as much as we can done this summer, but certain components may have to wait until the spring of next year.
Okay, we don't have any issues right now, do we, with hot water and? JTL auditorium seating.
JTL auditorium seating is tentatively scheduled to start mid-June. That's going to be about a 3 to 4 week project. They're hoping to be out of JTL and totally complete with that by mid-July.
Excellent.
North Water Tower generator.
North Water Tower, the excavator was back a few weeks ago. They got held up with some of the recent rain. They are scheduled to be back next week. And again, that's going to be with a pad for an above ground propane tank that we are coordinating with Sharp Energy. So as soon as that pad is poured, and we're going to give it a 7-day cure time to allow Sharp to deliver their tank. After that point, it's only a matter of a few days to get the system started up and tested once the fuel system is available.
Okay, so that's something that's gonna happen this summer?
Yes, it will.
Okay. Summer of 25. Okay, next item on the agenda, D, Technology Department, Brian, JTL.
Yeah, JTL wiring, they're gonna start little materials this Friday. We have a pre-construction meeting, or so to speak, June 9th, Monday. So that'll be Josh, members from Diane, myself, Daryl, Rob. We'll meeting at 9:30, kind of review everything, and hopefully they'll be starting right after that meeting. That's your understanding, Josh, right?
Yep, that's correct. And keep in mind, we're going to be coordinating that with the floor replacement for the LVT installation. So just a little bit of coordination that needs to happen between those two contractors. Luckily, the flooring is not quite as extensive as in years past, so I think we'll be okay.
Brian, you're more than welcome to join us at the big table.
I'm good.
You're more than welcome.
So you can still have it.
Badly.
Next,
You're welcome.
number.
Take my chair.
You can sneak out.
Pass. Number you sneak out. Proposed projects, the East Stroudsburg Elementary sprinkler replacement, Josh.
ESE sprinkler, we have a pre-bid meeting date set for June 24th. We'll be having that project advertised over the next 3 weeks to prepare for that.
Pre-bid meeting. Okay, and then the pre-bid meeting, and then what's the rough schedule for bid opening?
The rough schedule as it is now is going to be a bids due in July. And the way that we see this playing out, the contractor, the low bidder can be under contract, by August. But really the first 6 months or so of the project really should be the final coordination and system design in terms of exact routing, all the hydraulic calculations that come with the sprinkler layout. So that's all work that can be done above ceiling, even while the kids are still in session. All the materials based on those engineered and designed drawings can be procured so that come summer of 26, that installation can begin. We are still anticipating a 2-summer installation just based on the scope of the project. So there is some coordination or phasing related to keeping the existing side in operation as the new replaced piping is also coming online. So that'll be a 2-summer process.
Okay, next item is B, boardroom audio visual. Brian?
Yeah, we had the opportunity, you and I, to discuss this a little bit the other day. The current system was probably designed in 2006, 2007 as part of the high school south renovation. It was installed late 2008, early 2009. We occupied this building in April of 2009. So it's an old system. It's been worked on several times. It's been patched several times. Fortunately, we haven't had any issues with the system. It's not an AV system, right? It's an AV system. It's not a sound system. So it's an integrated AV system. It's for a professional type setting such as this. So, for your meetings, you want the streaming piece, all that type of stuff. We have different organizations that come in and use this room. Peters comes in and uses it. Fred Mill has the NASRO training in here. We've gotten several compliments from several organizations since this building opened about how they like the room, the acoustics, everything, the ambiance. So I think if we want to continue to provide that type of professional AV setting in here, we would want to upgrade the system. And that did go out to bid. We worked with Josh, and actually his electrical engineer kind of went over everything. And we only had 2 bids for that. It was Keystone and Guyette. Yes. The way the system should work is it should be so intuitive that anybody in this building should be trained on how to use it. There's touch panel on the front, there's touch panel on the back. Those touch panels they're burned out. You have to look up at an angle. So we want to make it that easy. That's conceptually, that's how it should have been. That's just part of the components that are breaking down over the last 16 years. And like I said, the room gets a lot of use. The high school students come over and use it. A lot of interviews in here, a lot of board meetings, etc.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would say 2 or 3 days a week, this room is in use at least.
Yes.
Keith, you had a question?
Yeah, what are we actually doing to this system?
Total replacement.
I didn't see any kind. Go ahead.
Total replacement.
And we didn't reach out to any. Those are the only 2 contractors we reach out to.
I let Josh speak to the bidding process because they were in charge of the advertising and reaching out to contractors.
Yeah,
I mean,
so-
what were the two companies that bid on it?
Guyette Communications and Keystone Fire Protection. Which is formerly
Okay, we didn't
CSI,
reach
which
out
is
to the company TV studios.
excuse
We
me?
didn't reach out to the company that put we didn't reach out to the company that put in our TV studios and all that stuff.
I did reach
Or
out.
the
I
company that put
personally
in our
reached
video
out.
for the station.
I personally reached out to anybody we've ever done business with in the AV world. Unfortunately, the gentleman from AVT did not make it in time to attend the mandatory pre-bid meeting.
All right, because that one company is traditionally the highest, the highest bids.
Keith, I think you're cutting in and out.
Company, the two companies, they're traditionally the high bids over.
Keith, can you hear us? Because you're in and out and we can't really hear you.
I'm gonna get to a better site, a better section.
While we're waiting for that, do you want to go on and talk about the IP phones at JTL?
Yes, so as part of the wiring project, we're moving from analog phones to IP phones. Currently, the way the analog phones are set up, there's a so to speak, a box, which would be a single point of failure. So if that box would fail, all the analog phones wouldn't work. So we want to transition that over to IP phones. We did not want to put the IP phones on the agenda until we had the JTL project approved. So now that that's approved, we can get the phones. They wouldn't need them until probably the middle of July anyway. So our goal is to order them and have that they're readily available, order them and have them delivered by the end of the month and in this budget year. Okay.
All right, I think I'm back. I think I got to a better site.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Go ahead.
I'm just questioning the two companies. Guyette and the alarm company are usually the two highest bidders in most of the projects, and we've noticed that in a lot of, with the sound systems in the TV studios. And I don't know. I'm just concerned because I don't think an alarm company knows sound. But anyway,
It's
but
not
if that's
just
what we would
sound,
bid on.
it's more than just sound, right, Brian?
That's correct. So Keystone Fire Protection bought CSI out. CSI installed the majority of the PA systems in the school district, the majority of the sound systems in the school district. When all these schools were built, they did the fire alarms, they did security alarms. When we had Honeywell cameras, they did that. The phone system we had before Cisco, they did that. So CSI has done a multitude of work. They're familiar with the school district. In various areas.
And
The bidding
CSI
process, I would have Josh speak to that, and maybe he could explain where it was bid, how it was advertised, and why we only got two bids.
Right, but CSI has also come in and installed our sound systems in our gyms, which are not that great. I just think their choice of equipment, but it's if you put it out to bid already, it's fine, and I guess that's what it is.
Okay.
I mean, it is what it is.
Okay,
I didn't know we were going out. I just didn't know we were going out to bid. I thought we were talking about this further at this meeting. I didn't know it was going out to bid that quick.
It was already out to bid, and that process was complete going into the last meeting.
I know, but when we talked about it last meeting, we said we would talk about it more, but we never did because you weren't at the last meeting, and they said we'll wait till you get to the meeting to talk about it. I didn't know we were going out to bid.
But the bid process had already happened when we went in to the May meeting. So it had already been done and the bid numbers were in front of you at that point. I was not able to explain the scope of the work. So we said we would hold off on it until Brian could explain the scope of the work. Because there was some confusion that it was only sound or that it was only the computer that needed to be replaced. When it truly is the entire integrated system.
All right, whatever. I guess that's fine. Not too thrilled, but it's done. So
Okay.
All right, next item is D, roof replacement. Daryl.
Okay, we have Bushkill Elementary, JM Hill, and High School South Stadium up on our capital plan as 2025 to replace roofs, to replace the roofs. This would be to proceed with that, but I can tell you currently we're having no issues with Bushkill Elementary's roof. That we've been dealing with. It's not been problematic. We have been dealing with some issues at JM Hill. The last storm, I think we made some major headway. It hasn't been as bad, but that roof was installed in 2012. And it is on the list this year to be replaced. High School South Stadium as well. That roof I would recommend moving forward though.
Daryl, if I could just add there, one thing we've discussed internally, and Josh, you can chime in on this too, since this came from the capital plan, is that the roof at Bushkill is unlike the other roofs on many of our schools in that it was installed as a metal roof. So its life expectancy is longer than what we believe it was perhaps placed on the schedule to indicate. So while it's coming up as due, it likely has a lot more life left in it than what was anticipated. So that's why Daryl's mentioning, we're not seeing an imminent need to do that. It may have simply been brought up on this particular schedule that was created years ago with the assumption it was asphalt. I could be wrong, but it's probably worth noting.
And as we look at JM Hill's roof, that has a few $1 million price tag, correct? We are doing a feasibility study to look at how our buildings are being utilized. And part of that process is whether we would want to renovate JM Hill or potentially build, not close it, build a new structure. So I don't know, and Daryl, I will trust you. I don't know if we want to invest millions in it when 2 or 3 years down the road, we might be doing a major renovation project on it. But if it needs it now, I don't want to wait on it.
Currently, JM Hill, I think as of the last 2 storms, we've made some major headway with it. I haven't had any issues. I would like maybe a little bit of time to monitor that
Okay.
and see how it is, and then we can base what's going on.
Okay, excellent.
And
And that roof is 13 years old, you said?
Yeah, it was 2012 we have in our report that it
It's
was,
only 13 years old.
yeah.
So it should, that should, I mean, a commercial roof is at least 20 plus years, correct?
Correct, Keith, yes, that's
Is it
why.
under warranty still?
Is it under warranty?
JTL roof is not under warranty.
No.
Or JM Hill, I'm sorry.
So- Daryl, can I just interject real quick?
Go
You
for it,
guys-
Josh.
Can you guys hear me? Okay, so just going back to Mr. Forsythe's comment about the metal roof, I'm looking at our what we called the replacement cycle spreadsheet that we updated in 2022. What is indicated for replacement in 2025 is the flat roof portion of Bushkill. So there is a mechanical storage space that is a flat roof area, if I remember. The metal roof itself, we don't have indicated for potential replacement until 2038. So I think we're talking about a much smaller roof area. It's only about 4,800 square feet at Bushkill. It might even just be like that canopy area, similar to Resica that we replaced a couple years ago, but it's not the metal components of that roof. So that's one. And then the second comment, looking again at the spreadsheet, JM Hill, we had indicated that the last Tremco roof was installed in 1993, but in 2012, there was a coating that was put on it to extend the warranty another 10 years. So as of now, it looks like the coating warranty is due for, replacement or upgrade at that point.
So where's it leaking at the drain or at the HVAC units?
Actually, there was 2 locations. It was a seal that came apart near an HVAC unit and a drain. We since repaired it and it's been fine.
Okay. And then the South Stadium is basically the
The,
seating capacity area?
no, the locker room and the coach's office area where the buildings come together.
The flat roof.
Flat roof down there, yes.
Okay.
The one thing is that capital improvement plan was done years in advance, and we strategically put all the buildings on years in advance that to kind of guide us for future plans financially. But I mean, to say that we have to stick to that plan if the roof is not failing in any way in this day and age with uncertainty of finances, I don't think we should replace it just because we said we're going to replace it. Correct?
I
Seems flat,
agree.
it's different.
However, I completely agree that we shouldn't just replace a roof if we don't need it. But what we could potentially run into is that a replacement cycle typically is intentional in spacing cost out. So if we wait on one roof, we could end up doing multiple roofs in 1 year because we waited, which is fine. It would just be an additional expense. And Josh, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that's correct. So the spread, when we said replacement cycle, whether it's roofing, HVAC, we basically took what the expected useful life is of the component, whether it's a boiler, chiller, roof. It certainly doesn't mean that on December 31st of that year, it must be replaced. It's kind of just a rule of thumb that is the average anticipated life cycle of that system. Again, just to help in the planning process. It certainly is a fluid document that can change year to year if there are other priorities that come about, more so than a roof replacement on a roof that looks still in pretty good condition, then certainly that can be moved around.
Okay, and the South Stadium is ready for
Excuse me?
the South High School Stadium is ready for a roof
Portion of it, yes, down on the.
shooting range, that whole area.
Yeah.
Next item is E generator replacement, Daryl.
And again, we had Bushkill Elementary, I believe, Rustica's on there.
And Lehman.
And Lehman. They're due to be replaced with the Rustica's generator. It was installed 1994, I have, and was up for replacement in 2024. We have all these generators on maintenance schedules. We've been getting by with them. If any of them, I would say Rustica Elementary, the main one, not the one for the chiller freezer, Josh. The other. But because they're on this replacement schedule, that's why they're up now.
Okay. So is that something that's in this current budget or?
It's proposed for 25-26.
Okay,
So we took all the 25-26 proposed projects and put them here so we can start talking about it.
And I know Josh and I had discussed Lehman's generator and met there. We have been having issues with that. And one of the issues that we're starting to have with some of these larger generators are the fuel tanks are rotting out of them.
okay.
Remember we looked at that, Josh?
Yeah, that base, the fuel tank below is located below the generator. So I'm sure as snow and, salt and ice and everything accumulates on that, it just helps to deteriorate that bottom tank.
Number 7, completed 2024-25 projects. The South Stadium boiler and hot water.
So this is just like an FYI.
Oh, these are just
So
FYI.
my goal is to keep kind of like a running agenda, and as we go from current projects as they're finished, we'll just add it to completed. So that at the end of every year, we can just see what we've done.
We appreciate that.
Okay, so we've done the stage lighting at JTL. And we all have a copy of the current capital projects list. Any questions on that? Any discussion?
Yeah, we have completed the Project list is just for 2 years, but it should be for 6, shouldn't it be?
We're working on the feasibility study will help us build that out.
Okay, good.
Yep, absolutely.
And our intent with that piece of the agenda there, listing all of those completed projects, will reset every July 1 for you, was the intent as well. That's what we're intending, just so we're all clear on that, because Amy's going to work to keep the agenda and to give us a reference point, meaning if we want to see what was done in any 1 year, we know to go to the June minutes.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and then we go to current capital payments list. I don't think there is any. Right?
No, you should have an attachment.
It was there. It's real tiny.
No,
It's itty bitty.
Yeah, that's the one that only has 2 years where you say you're
No,
working
that's
on
this
the,
one.
Okay, so you're just talking about the chart.
Yeah,
This
just the
one.
chart.
other chart, yeah.
No.
Any discussion on that? Next item is items requiring action, notice to proceed. The boardroom audiovisual system replacement. Looks like Keystone Fire and Security was the low bidder at $101,460. Any discussion?
No.
We already had it. Next item is this JTL IP phones. Low bidder was Integra One at $24,469.20. Any discussion on that? D is the High School North Auditorium projector screen. Applied Video Technology was the low bidder at $30,524.11. Any discussion?
So,
Next item is E, Train Energy Assessment and Analysis Client Agreement. Any discussion on that?
So this is when Train came last meeting
Yes.
and they presented that they would like to help us to kind of gather more information
Yes.
about energy efficient savings and projects that they can help us fund it. So it's not so expensive. There's no cost to us to do this
for this portion of it.
for this portion of it,
Correct.
for the analysis.
Yes.
Correct.
Mhm.
They're gonna
After
offer it for
that-
free. Let's go. Yeah,
Take it.
and then we can make a decision of whether to move forward or not.
Okay. So we'll have a motion afterwards. Next item is F, CHA invoices. I through 6. North Campus generator replacement invoice, JTL, Resica, JM Hill floor replacements, and then the sprinkler replacement invoice and the JTL boiler and water heater replacement invoice. Any discussion on those invoices?
The sprinkler system, is that just for the drawings?
Sure.
Yeah, that's design phase effort. Yep.
I didn't get that.
It's designed.
Design phase.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, to answer your question. G, applications for payment. The North Natatorium roof, Mun Roofing, that's for application number 9, $26,235. JTL flooring replacement, Cope flooring for $323,977.50. Is that the final one? No, it looks like it's F.
No, what
Yeah,
what that is, Wayne, is all the material. So they already ordered the material as soon as they got their contract. So labor obviously is the other half, give or take, of the project, but that is all the material for getting that work done.
Okay,
And this is where we should add the notice to proceed for the bus. To move it forward.
okay. Notice to proceed for the North Campus Transportation Edition. You.
can we add that under A?
Yeah, so if
Under
we go
the,
back,
Notice to proceed,
Motions?
notice to
Where you
proceed,
at?
so we have the board
What
room
page?
visual AV system.
Yep.
And then add a second one under that,
perfect.
yeah.
To proceed A. Plus North Campus Transportation Edition. Okay. So public participation, anybody out there? Any hands waving? Hearing none, we'll go to advisory recommendations for consideration by the Board of Education. So we go back to motions.
Hey, just for to make it easier for me, if I don't say no, I'm saying yes for this part because it's easier that way for the motions. Is that good?
Okay.
You got it.
Thank you, because it's
Those progress. Okay, items requiring action. I guess that's where we go. A motion to recommend notice to proceed for the boardroom audio visual system replacement and for the North Campus Transportation Edition.
So,
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion, revisit bid for boardroom, no. Oh, motion to accept the boardroom audio visual system replacement with Keystone Fire and Security for $101,460.
so moved.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion to accept Integra One for $24,469.20 for the JTL IP phones.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion to accept Applied Video Technology for $30,524.11
So moved.
for the North Auditorium projector screen.
So moved.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion to accept Train Energy Assessment Analysis Agreement as written.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion to accept CHA invoices I through 6.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Applications for payment for the North Natatorium roof for Munn Roofing, that's $26,235, and JTL flooring replacement coat flooring, application 1 for $323,977.50.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
I.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
You.
Thank you.
I don't know. I don't.
Good night.
Picture of it, and I'm gonna